Going through divorce is, to put it mildly, really tough. And when you're trying to figure out how to divide property, especially your home in Torrance, it can feel completely overwhelming. So in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise and give you clear, simple answers about one of the most important steps, the appraisal.
It's a stressful time. There's just no way around it. And probably the biggest question that pops up for almost everyone is, what do we do about the house, right? How do you split it fairly, and what is it even worth in today's market?
Well, the answer to those big questions really boils down to one critical piece of the puzzle, the home appraisal. So let's break down what that actually means, why it is so important for getting a fair settlement, and the big one, what you can actually expect it to cost you.
Okay, so first things first, why is getting an appraisal such a big deal during a divorce? Why can't you just, agree on a number? Well, it's about making sure the outcome is truly fair and legally sound for both of you.
A divorce appraisal is basically a formal, professional process that pins down the fair market value of your home. And this isn't just a Zillow estimate or a guess. It's a super detailed valuation that becomes the official number everyone works from when dividing assets.
And here's the thing, it's not really optional. Think of it this way. The court needs an objective, unbiased number to work with. Lenders, too. This appraisal is done by a neutral third party, which takes all the guesswork and potential arguments out of the equation. It creates one single source of truth for your home's value.
All right, let's get to the reason you're probably here. The big question. What is the price tag for a divorce appraisal in Torrance going to look like for 2025 and 2026? Let's find out.
And there it is. The number you need to know is $800. For a typical, standard, single-family home appraisal in Torrance, that's the baseline cost you should be planning for. Now, you might be wondering, where does that number come from? Is it just pulled out of thin air? Nope. It's actually based on the official VA fee schedule for Los Angeles County, which is a really common benchmark for appraisal costs in the whole area. And that $800 covers both single-family homes and condos.
Of course, the costs can shift a little bit depending on what kind of property you have. So for a manufactured home, you can see it's just a bit higher at $850, and if you happen to own a multifamily property, say a duplex or even a fourplex, you're going to be looking at a fee closer to $1,000, just because it's a more complex job.
And you'll notice the timeline here is pretty consistent. For all of these different property types, the standard turnaround time is about 10 business days. And that's great news, because it gives you a predictable schedule you can actually plan around during the legal process.
So while those fees are a really solid guideline, you should know that a few things can still influence that final cost. Let's take a quick look at what those variables are. It really comes down to three main things. First is the property type, which we just saw on the chart. Then there's location and the overall complexity of the appraisal itself. The good news for Torrance is that it's priced as a standard area, not one of those super high cost or remote counties that can sometimes drive up the fees.
So what do we mean by complexity? Well, it could be anything from really unique features on your property, like, say, a highly custom-built home, or maybe some very specific, intricate requirements from your divorce settlement itself that mean extra legwork for the appraiser. It's just something to be aware of.
Okay, so now you get the why and the how much. So what's the next step? What do you actually do? Getting started is actually way more straightforward than you might think.
Honestly, it boils down to just these two steps. First, you want to find a certified appraiser who specifically has experience with divorce cases. That's key. Then you just provide them with the details about your property and let them know about any special instructions that are part of your settlement. That's it.
We've covered a lot of ground pretty quickly here, so let's just do a quick recap of the most important things you need to remember from all this.
So if you take away anything from this, let it be this. The whole point of the appraisal is to guarantee fairness. For a typical home in Torrance, you're going to budget around $800. You should expect a report back in about 10 business days, and your very next step is just to reach out to a qualified professional. See? Simple.
Ultimately, try to think of the appraisal not as just another stressful expense, but as the essential first step toward getting clarity, toward finding a fair resolution. Getting that clear, unbiased number is what empowers you to move forward with confidence.